10 and News Now streaming. I'm with the one and only Donald Trump. How are you?
Mike, I feel absolutely fantastic. I am so happy to be in Phoenix and Arizona. This is such an amazing state. And this is one of the main states where I talk about the wall the most.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
My wall, the Trump wall, is going to be a
Yes.
fantastic wall. 2,000 miles long, 55 feet high. But what a lot of people don't know, I know you know that, but what a lot of people don't know about the wall is there is going to be a fantastic Trump hotel on top, a luxurious Trump hotel. It's true. And the windows are only going to face the American side. And on the Mexican side, painted over and over again in English, it's going to say you've been Trump suckers, just over and over and over again. It's going to be fantastic. I have to tell. I know walls. It's going to be a fantastic wall.
And what's your favorite part about Arizona, would you say?
Well, you know, Arizona has so many wonderful things, but I have to say it's the people. Fantastic people, because it's certainly not the food. I mean, really, but I eat fast food anyway, so it's fine. But you people are absolutely great, hardworking, very conservative, very Republican people. I like that.
And tell me, you always say, make America great again. What do you truly mean by that?
I mean, we're going to make America great again. You know, a lot of reporters say that I don't have an actual plan, that I just keep saying, make America great again. But I have to tell you, it's a fantastic plan. It's an amazing plan. It's a Trump plan. But I can't tell anyone what the plan is until I'm in office.
Okay.
Because crooked Hillary Clinton is going to steal it. She's going to steal my plan, and I can't have that. I just absolutely can't have that.
And how did you come up with crooked Hillary? We hear that a lot on the campaign trail.
Well, you know, I was thinking, like, I could be called her, I was thinking lying Hillary Clinton, but, you know, that's kind of overdone. But crooked, I knew if I used crooked, people would adopt it. Now people, I hear people saying this. They say, hey, your tie is Hillary. So they've actually taken and made it a verb.
So now it's a verb.
Yeah, so you're in someone's house and the painting on the wall is crooked. What you say is, oh look, your painting is Hillary. That's what you do. It's incredible.
And you've been saying that some of the media outlets, not fair. Not fair at all.
Let me tell you something. Not fair whatsoever. It's a disgrace, frankly. It's really, really sad. Morning Joe, totally irrelevant. Those people are sad. They really are. Fox is the best. On your local stations, your affiliates, Fox News, incredible. CNN, Clinton News Network. You know, it really is. They're just so incredibly biased. They take everything I say and they twist it and they put different meanings to it than what I actually said.
And I think you are by far the most confident candidate we've ever seen.
Well, I have to tell you, this entire race is about confidence. And nobody has more confidence than me. I'm also humbled at the same time, but I'm very, very confident. I own, I've got buildings all over the world. I've got golf courses, jetliners, modeling agencies where I groom future wives, 2 beauty pageants where I groom future wives, and my 25-acre estate in Florida, Mar-a-Lago, where I house all of my future wives. So it's really, really exciting, I have to tell you.
Now, I want to know, if you do become the president, will you actually live in the White House?
No, I do not plan to live in the White House. I haven't said this publicly yet, but I refuse to live in government housing. I'm sorry. And the White House is only 2 stories, and it's old. It's very, very old. We are either going to bulldoze it and put up a fantastic Trump hotel casino right there, or we're going to put in a Trump National Golf Course. Have you been to the White House?
Yes.
This is amazing real estate, amazing real estate. And 2 blocks down from the White House is a phenomenal Trump hotel. And by the way, if it's not a Trump hotel, it's a dump hotel. So don't stay anywhere else except a Trump hotel, whatever city you're in. And if there isn't a Trump hotel in that city, don't go to that city. All right? You know what I'm saying?
And so the history of the White House, you say, forget it. We're going to make our own.
I have to tell you something. I was at the White House a number of years ago. There are paintings on the wall. I don't even know who half these people are. I don't know. They're old guys with beards and pipes. I don't know. I know some of the more modern presidents. I don't know a lot of the older presidents. No one needs that. We don't need that.
And earlier in the year, you defeated a group of about 16 other candidates. How did you go about doing that?
Well, you know, it was very, very easy, I have to tell you. I mean, you know, look, I like Chris Christie. He's a nice guy, but he had to go. Little Marco Rubio, I mean, come on, what is he, like 15? Marco, go back to Menudo. I mean, honestly, you know. And Dr. Ben Carson, very nice guy, very nice guy. When I can't sleep, I call Dr. Ben. That's what I do. I call Dr. Ben. And Jeb Bush, low energy.
Low energy.
He's
He had
low
it from the get-go.
But I have to tell you something. His son is now supporting me. His son has come on board. That's how low energy Jeb is. His own son is supporting me. If Eric or Donald did that, I would just beat the crap out of them, I have to tell you.
Now, this week, I got to ask you, you've been catching a lot of flack for saying the Second Amendment phrase more about Hillary Clinton. What do you say about that?
Well, I think everyone knows what I really meant. I want the Second Amendment people to get out there and vote and support what I want to do and make this a phenomenal landslide. And the Second Amendment people will do that. I don't like how people twist what I say. And by the way, I was kidding. It was a joke. But I didn't mean what I said when I said it. But it was a joke in any case. So I kind of covered my bases on that one.
And speaking of your wall, do you think you could maybe build a wall to kind of block some of this heat in Arizona?
You know, I was thinking of just putting a huge wall around the planet at this point.
There you go.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just block it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the aliens pay for it. I'm looking at the aliens. The aliens can pay for the wall around the planet. We'll just let the sun in. I'm not a big guy on global warming, but I did notice it's been very, very hot in most of the country.
There you go. Very, very hot.
And I do want to talk about Obamacare. It came up
Yes,
earlier. The
let's talk
cost of
about
Obamacare has gone up. It's gone up. When I'm elected, we are going to get rid of Obamacare. We're going to absolutely get rid of Obamacare, and we are going to issue a fantastic Trump first aid kit to everybody. It's going to be a phenomenal first aid kit, and that'll cover everything you need.
There you go. That's all you'll probably
That's all
need.
you need.
Wow. This has been on. Now, John,
Yes.
tell me, this is amazing stuff. I mean, you've been doing Donald Trump for a while.
I've been doing Donald Trump since 2004 when The First Apprentice ended.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so tell me how, when The Apprentice was going, tell me when you were like, I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to do Trump.
You know, it's funny. I'm from the New York. I was working in the New York market, and I was kind of like the go-to person for tougher voices. And somebody called me on a Friday and said, "Hey, we have an audition for Trump on Monday. Do you do Trump?" And I said, "Ooh, let me give me a little bit of time." So I went online at that point, and the only person who was doing it was Phil Hartman from Saturday Night Live. There was really no one else doing Trump.
Wow.
And I thought, this sounds like it's in my genetic range. So I ran out, and they just had released the first season of The Apprentice.
Okay.
I locked myself in my house, and for 30 hours, I watched every single episode of the very first Apprentice. And I broke down Trump's voice, where the throat placement is, and the nasal placement, and his very, very interesting vocal production, because he makes his words right here when he speaks. And he makes a lot of faces too.
Sure.
So, and then he has a very, very unusual cadence. He's from Queens, New York, and honestly, he's from New York, but you rarely hear his New York accent.
Absolutely.
So what I did was, because I usually try to do everything organically, but this one I took a more of a scientific approach and wrote it all down, where the throat placement was, where the nose placement was, how the vocal production is, that cadence thing. And for every impersonation you do, if I'm doing Austin Powers, baby, that's a little more physical, baby, yeah. So with him, it's a lot of attitude.
Yeah,
it's a lot of attitude, and it's, listen, I'm right, you're wrong, get out of here. It's a fantastic idea, but it's my idea. So for him, it was the secret sauce was his attitude, and I went in and I booked that audition, and a few weeks later, one of the production companies I work with said, "Hey, we hear you doing Donald Trump's voice. Do you do the whole thing?"
Yeah.
And I went to Bob Kelly. Bob Kelly. The reason I mentioned Bob Kelly is Bob Kelly did all the wigs for Saturday Night Live from its inception.
Wow.
For decades and decades. He passed away a number of years ago. He was a great guy. He was very supportive of actors. And I went to him and I said, "Bob, I need a wig." And Bob's wigs are very expensive, thousands of dollars, and I thought I'd shut this off.
Might be Bob right now.
Right, could be Bob. You never know. So Bob said to me, I said, "Could you build me a wig?" And he says, "Yes, it's about $7,000." I was like, and when I woke up from the smelling salts, I said, "Bob, I'm a poor actor. I don't have $7,000." But he said, "Well, I do have another Trump wig already made." And I said, "How could you have a Trump wig made already?" He said, "Did you see the Visa commercial with Donald Trump on top of the Chrysler building where he loses the credit card?" And he said, "Go into a dumpster to get the card." And I said, "Yeah, I've seen it." He goes, I have the body
Wow.
doubles wig. So my first Trump wig was the wig from the Trump Visa commercial.
That's amazing.
It is.
That's
so I had this
amazing.
great connection. I had this really
Yeah.
wonderful connection to him. So that was my first wig, and then I started doing them, and there was a lot of apprentice team building for corporations. That's
Oh,
kind
sure.
of my main work, is the corporate work. And then this last election cycle 4 years ago, I kind of got a bump, and then when he announced last summer. It's hard to believe it's been over a year.
Yes,
it's hard to
I
believe.
know.
And June and July were okay, a lot of inquiries, and then August hit, and then September, and it's been nonstop ever since.
So right after that first debate, I bet it just exploded on you.
That's exactly what it
Wow.
was. When people knew that he was really going to be in it, and all of a sudden the phone was ringing. I've been on Fox Fox News on Red Eye 21 times. Tom Shalhoub, who's the host of Red Eye, has been amazing to me. But what a lot of people don't know is Tom and I used to do theater and comedy together in the early 90s in New York.
Small world.
So when the whole thing came up with Trump, he said, "Hey Johnny, you want to be on the show?" I'm like, "Absolutely!" So I've been on that a number of times. We've done tours around New York. We've done the Christmas show, the New Year's show. So that's great. And then Conan O'Brien called last August or September, and I've been on his show about 12 times.
Wow.
And now there's other things happening, and we're negotiating a series right now, which could be really huge. Really, really big. This could be a game changer, people. Really, really big. So, and I'm voicing toys in 2 different animated series. So
amazing.
It's absolutely amazing.
And
so Trump's, he is making America great again for me.
yeah,
already.
he really. This was like an explosion for you.
Yeah, this is. As an actor, it's always cyclical, it's
roller
up,
coaster.
it's down. Yeah, this has been, for me, I feel like I'm Rocky. I'm 53 years old, I'm an actor, and all of a sudden you get this shot where you get this at least over a year of work.
Yes.
Which is pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Most actors I know probably work 10 days out of the entire year.
Yeah.
I've worked almost nonstop.
And you're all over the country. I mean,
Yeah. It is. I don't even know the time zones anymore.
What's been the hardest part about all this, though? Would you say?
I have. It has kind of. The hardest part is I can't keep up relationships with friends and family. I live in Las Vegas, but I'm rarely home.
Okay.
And when I'm home, it's to unpack and repack. And so it's a lot of phone calls and Skype calls and keeping up with people. But it's, when you're passionate about something, you're willing to make sacrifices. And I am so lucky to make a living as a performer, and this is such a zeitgeist moment right now. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? So I'm willing to make the sacrifices to do this and to practice every day and work on the voice. And his voice is changing a little bit. He's getting a little more guttural when he speaks. But I love this. And Trump has always said, and I've been a huge Trump fan for years. I actually have one of the original copies of Art of the Deal.
Oh my gosh!
I was always fascinated by him, and my wife at the time. I sound like Trump. I have multiple wives. But my wife at the time, this was 1987, bought me the book for Christmas, and she wrote and said, "I don't like what this guy stands for, but I know you do. So here's the book."
Look at that!
And to this day, I have the book. And I shot a video in my office a couple of days ago, and we actually have it sitting behind me, on a shelf on the wall, because he's so fascinating.
Now, have you met him yet?
Yes, I did his 55th birthday party, but I was Austin Powers.
Okay.
And this was at the Castle in Atlantic City. So I jumped out of a cake as Austin Powers, baby, yeah. And I got to share the stage with him, and I gave him, I think, 12 or 24 models. We did a big kick line on stage. So I got to meet him prior, and we got to do a little patter on stage together.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
it was a lot of fun.
Most likely, if he becomes president, you'll probably be doing the correspondence dinner, right?
You know what? I didn't say that. Yeah. He said that. But I was in Washington this week. I was shooting in Washington, and 5 people said the same exact thing. So that would be probably the greatest. That would be the greatest thing.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be pretty amazing.
And now, how long does it take you to get up like that?
It takes about an hour to get into Trump, and I have multiple wigs. We just had a new one made. I keep my head shaved so you can actually see into the hair, like his. So I want to be as authentic as possible. Obviously, I'm not as old as him, and my facial structure is different, but I try to get it as close as possible. I do the light whitening around the eyes. I age lines. The crow's crow's feet.
Yeah.
This here, the kind of the laugh lines on his face are a little more defined. And obviously, I don't know if people realize this. He's 6'3".
Yes.
He's
a big, tall guy.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
So no matter what, luckily I've got pretty broad shoulders, so I can. If I'm standing on stage, I did an event in Las Vegas yesterday for a group, and if I'm at a podium and I have Secret Service agents that are shorter than me, then I look taller.
Yes. And as a performer, tell me right before you're about to get on stage or hit a podium,
Right.
what's that feeling like as doing Trump this past year?
Oh, it's great. You know, one of the things is he has so much confidence. It's actually made me more confident as a performer. It's amazing. I didn't really think about this, but this past year, and I've done them before, but he imbues in me this ability to be almost kind of like, how are you? Good to see you.
Sit down.
You know, whatever it is, you know. And if something's not working, if the microphone's not working, or the sound, or the lighting isn't right, or I'll call it out.
There you go.
Which I would never do, but Trump does it, so it kind of gives me a conduit to be a little more demanding of what I need and what I want and what I should be having when I'm.
And you really have to, as much as you're traveling, still you got to be on the current events as well.
Oh yeah,
every day.
Every day I check Fox, CNN, MSNBC. I do it on my phone. I'll do it on the laptop. I need to know what's going on. I'll listen to the analysis of all the.
Sure.
I try to, because for me, I have to take what he says and make it humorous, and I have to certain things. If I can find a way in, I'll definitely make it funny. If I can't, I can't. So. And
now tell me, after August, when all these calls were coming, how hard was it to? I mean, like, were you just like, oh my gosh, was it?
My agent called me and she goes, I've never experienced anything like this. You're getting like 6-7 calls a day. So, and now not all of them pan out. A lot of people are like, I want you for my son's bar mitzvah, and if they're willing to pay, I'll do the bar mitzvah, don't get me wrong. So some of the things are, can you do a birthday message to, we have 5,000 people in San Antonio for the Ophthalmologist Association or something like that. So it's all things, but now we're kind of shifting into the much bigger things like TV and the film and commercials and animation and things like that.
Wow.
Because it's a very, very difficult voice to get. It's not easy. I have to tell you, but it's fantastic. It's really, really tremendous.
And lastly, now more than a decade ago, when you first did Trump, did you ever think that it would come to this level?
No. I had no idea. I did Fox and Friends back in 2006.
Wow.
So this is
10 years ago.
10 years ago. Trump was unavailable. I did a cross promotion for The Apprentice and Embassy Suites. And I remember thinking like, this was the zenith.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I'm on Fox and Friends.
You're on national TV
on a Sunday. In conjunction with the Trump Organization and Embassy Suites and The Apprentice, and I was like, this is it. And now, for 10 years later, it's like this. It's really amazing.
Yeah,
it's really
absolutely.
Amazing. And I realize that it can be divisive, but I don't focus on that. I focus on the humor of it, just like Von Meter did with Kennedy and all the other. Steve Bridges did with President Bush. It's the humor, and I want to make. I'm a comedian.
Yeah,
I'm a comedian. I'm not I'm not a politician. I don't have an axe to grind. It's all about the comedy.
Well, what a stretch that you've been on, and just wishing you the very, very best in the future. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
That was amazing.
All right, keep watching Fox 10. They're absolutely fantastic. This guy, Mike, is amazing. He's really, really amazing. He's going to be huge. Trust me. Huge. Believe me.
All right, thanks. And you will be on in just a little bit, right there on
that's
AZAM, about 10 minutes here. So check it out.